As the Enterprise and the Farragut approach the comet, Captain Kirk beams aboard the Enterprise where he's greeted by his brother, Sam. They hug. Jim says it's quite the ship, which Sam points out that he's jealous. Now, Chris, here's the thing. I believe they never showed the Farragut in the original show, but I believe the implication was that it was a Constitution-class ship as well.
Was it?
I believe that was the implication. Now, I don't think they ever showed it, and I don't know that was ever said for a fact. What did you think of the design of the Farragut in this episode?
You know, it's very often that I don't like the not Constitution-class ships, the way they look. Yeah. Apparently, the Farragut is a Farragut-type ship. I don't know if that's changed. I don't know if that's new canon or what, but according to Memory Alpha, the Farragut is the flagship for that class of ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're not Constitution class.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the most they ever said about the Farragut was that Kirk was on board when Captain Garrovick was killed or something. Like, they said that back on TOS.
Yeah, and it took me by surprise that La'an was stationed on there, but I think I might have a theory for why, but we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Actually, in a little bit.
When we get around.
Well, it's coming up because La'an comes over too.
Yeah, she does. In the conference room, Pike notes a silence and points out that they won't get out of the problem by not talking about it. Kirk doesn't think they should wait and they should make a choice right now. Basically, they're trying to decide between what could possibly start a war and sitting back and trying something else. Kirk points out that if the Romulan ship gets back across the neutral zone to tell its people that they came through, blew up star bases, and a couple Federation ships showed up and sat on their hands, then it's going to look weak and the Romulans are going to start a war. Also a couple of racist shots here taken at Spock for looking like the Romulans, which Kirk actually has the best comeback to, that he says that he's like, look, it's suspicious not because they look alike, but because the Romulans know that humans and Vulcans are allies. Mm-hmm. And they just happen to let a piece of information out that they look Vulcan. You know, this could have been an intentional play to drive a wedge between humans and Vulcans.
Yeah, or, well, I don't know if it would do that, but what I was going to say is, or to make the Romulans seem closer to the Vulcans, but the only person that seems to have worked on is Pike, who does not want to just go fire on them willy-nilly.
Yeah, you know, I'll probably come back to this later, but it's kind of interesting to me that Pike, who had such survivor's guilt over being made to sit out of the Klingon War, would be pushing so hard to stay out of another war.
Yeah, but, I mean, he also knows that he's not in his right timeline.
Oh, this is true, yeah.
And he thinks that he's here to save the universe from Kirk. So he is going to push back on whatever Kirk wants to do.
No, this is true. These are all very good points. I think Dr. Mbinga, who's really playing Dr. McCoy's role here, he's the only one who's really, besides Pike, really pushing to not go to war. Spock is for it, Kirk is for it, and Ortegas looks like she'd fight anybody for any reason in this universe.
Yeah, she's like borderline mirror universe Ortegas.
Yeah.
Like
that tiny little Spitfire is just spoiling for a fight.
Yeah, and this scene with Mbinga here is another almost word for word of what McCoy says to Kirk in Balance of Terror.
So Kirk suggests a plan to Pike. Hey, let's quietly tail this Romulan ship until we get it over to the comet, and then we'll use that to lock our weapons on. And Chris, do you want to hit us with the captain's personal log?
Captain's personal log, stardate 1709.2. Per Captain Kirk's plan, we are mounting a pincer move. Our two ships will slowly drift closer as the Romulans remain unaware. When they pass through the comet's tail, giving us their exact location, we will be in weapons range. Kirk, however, has agreed to my plan to neutralize, not destroy, the bird of prey, leaving open the possibility of dialogue. And yet, I remain concerned this brash young Starfleet captain follows his own rules, and I can't help but wonder, is Kirk the reason I was sent here? If I wasn't here to stop him, would we be led into a war? Again, you're reading the room wrong, bud.
Yep. Yeah, just a little off on that one, pal.
Which is odd that he would be reading the room wrong, because Admiral Pike makes it super clear that when Pike made sure nobody was going to be where the accident happened, he set into effect a chain of events that was universe problematic. It just seems weird to me that he would think that Kirk is the continuing reason for this and not himself.
You know what I just got struck with here, and this is actually going to reflect on something that happens later. Hey, chill out, Commander. This is going to reflect on something that happens a little bit later. But you notice a lot of what happens in this episode is ego versus reality. The sub-commander on the Romulan ship.
Pike and Kirk.
So, of course, Pike gets here, finds out there's, galaxy-shattering repercussions to something, and he assumes it's not him, automatically, Which is kind of funny because Pike is usually so ego-less in these episodes, Okay, so we'll have to look at that a little bit as we go here.